is up, guys? Welcome to the redraw. Once again, I am your main host with the most, Leroy, with my partner Mimi.
Also known as Silver Sapphire on the internet. Hello, everybody.
And once again, we are joined by our fellow leader, Reese,
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back.
and our friendly neighborhood, Crespo.
What's up? I'm back again.
So, I know it's been a while, guys, but today we actually are going to be talking about D-Start Deck 2. Just like last week, we talked about Start Deck 1.
2 weeks ago.
Two weeks ago. This one, we will talk about Start Deck 2, Danji Momoyama, titled Tyrant Tiger. That's actually a pretty interesting name for a deck that's kind of mostly
Yeah.
Spike Bros.
One, I don't see how it's a tiger, and two, damn, you read that guy's name so good.
Blame reading subtitles. I'm a sub for life. I barely watch dubs.
Look at you go.
So we're gonna start off with So how this is gonna go, guys? We're gonna start with the ride deck from the grade 3 down, and then talk about the additional cards inside. Anybody gets that?
Nope, sounds good to me.
All right.
By me.
All right. So first off, we are gonna start off with the main grade 3 of the deck, Diablos Violence Bruce. His skill is Auto Vanguard Circle. At the start of your ride phase, you Final Rush. This is a state of play, guys, not a ability. It is a state of play. So just like with Kagero back in G era, where they entered
Blaze, right?
Thank you, Blaze. This is a state of being, not a ability in itself. His other skill is Auto Vanguard Circle. When this unit attacks, if you are in Final Rush, Soul Blast 5 and stand all of your front row rear guards. Now, on paper, to me, guys, before they explain persona writing, this ability sounded like trash.
Because you would mess up your own thing when you reroad?
This ability in itself sounded like complete trash. Because okay, I restand, but based on the grade 2 and 1, there really wasn't much pressure being dealt with the restand. And then they explained persona writing, and it was just like, okay, we understand now.
And then we got their last side grade 3 that we're gonna get to in a minute. Ooh, he's beefy.
Yeah.
That Soul Blast 5 cost does at first seem like really steep, and you're like, man, I don't see how you can ever get off 2 of those in a game. But I think with the way the deck works, that should be about the second one should get him. And you should have just enough resources to hit there on like turn 5 or 6.
Yeah. I'm glad I'm glad he only stands all the rear guards and not the Vanguard as well.
Because this is broken.
Because this is a nation where there is a lot of soul chargers.
Yeah, because if he restood, he could, and you had 10 soul, you could just do it again. It's not a once per turn.
Nope.
Oh man,
that would be bonkers. Reese?
Yeah, it's a steep cost, but if that's any indication, it just says that the deck is going to focus heavily on soul charging, much like Spike Brothers did when they functioned as basically the rush down clan of the purple guys. But
blue now, huh?
Yeah, looks like they got a color change, a little bit of an upgrade, I guess you could say. Although it's not wrong with purple, it's color
like
royalty.
Yeah.
But
the color seems more like royal bluish than purple.
My color.
Yeah, it's not a bad color.
Baby.
It's like Chrono Jet blue. Like
Kinda.
when you really look at it.
No, it's kind of like
brighter.
It's like a steel gray, like a steel blue almost.
I was about to say it's gray. Okay, steel blue makes more sense to me. So.
What do you got to say about Bruce Crespo?
Oh, this card is like fair. Like it's a balanced version of broken to me because I figure like with the supplementary pieces you would or wouldn't have to get it to 5, you won't have to worry about like carelessly soul blasting 5 as an auto skill early if you don't need to. That way you'd probably be like a 3 or 4 in the soul, and then like the turn afterward, you just go, alright, I got enough attackers, start swinging, soul blast 5.
Yeah.
And depending on the other supplementary pieces, getting any cards in the soul deck hopefully shouldn't be an issue.
Hopefully.
Yeah, but because of Bruce, I'm actually going to do a change of pace, guys, because it makes more sense after spraying Bruce to start with the 1 and go back up. So we're actually going to start with, after Bruce, we're going to go into Diabolos Bad Steve. Bad Steve's the grade 1. What he does is when this unit is placed on Vanguard Circle, choose a card from your soul, call it to back row Rearguard Circle, and soul charge 1. Continuous Rearguard Circle. If you are in Final Rush, this unit gets plus 5,000. Now, the reason I went here instead of the grade 2, because it doesn't make, the grade 2 makes less sense without talking about the grade 1 first. So, to me, this grade 1,
I mean, we
on
should read the
read-
grade 2 too, right? Just real
I have
quick.
not read the grade 2.
Just real
You want
quick.
to just,
Yeah, just
you want
real
to talk about
quick.
them together?
Yeah, Diabolos Anger Richard has a very similar set of skills. First, auto, when placed on Vanguard, put a rear guard into your soul, you know, like that grade 0 you just moved, and then you draw a card. And then also on rear guard, if you're in Final Rush, it gets plus 5k.
Okay. Thank you, Mimi.
Yeah, they're a nice pair.
They are actually a pretty nice pair. Together, I based with these two, just like with a D-Start Deck 1, I love how the grade 1, 2, and 3 work so well in tandem with each other, to where it's like it's not missing a beat, and it's not like this doesn't make sense to do. Everything has its place. This gives you 1 extra soul, so by the time you do hit your first grade 3 ride, your soul is pretty much ready, but you just can't do it because it's not optimal.
There you have your 0, your 1, your 2, and then you get the soul charge 1 from the grade 1, and then you just need 1 more soul, well, because you slide the 0 back in after you slide it out. You just need to get 1 more soul charge. So like if you persona ride, then it all works out. Because you can't use your Final Rush skill to restand on your first time you ride Violence Bruce, because you're not in Final Rush, because you weren't at the start of your ride phase. So if you get off that persona ride, you're all set up for one big smash.
But if we were to just look at the first, with just the first 4, the starter, the grade 1, 2, and 3, this alone is already a really great starting point, since the starter Diablos Innocent Matt is just your typical starter.
Yeah, no, nothing too special.
But these first 4 are like, okay, this is a deck in itself. You could throw this in normal Spike Bros and just be like, okay.
Yeah, it's just in there. It's a nice little engine. I think it's good that they made most of the ride deck things like that. They work very nice consistently by themselves.
That'd be very interesting in the premium landscape at some point. Maybe not as a competitive deck, depending on where it takes off. You know, there's no telling how this whole mechanic will interact with older cards. All we know is that all of Overdress was designed with older cards in mind in relation to premium. So what I think they're doing is just making sure that nothing that they make is going to create bad interactions like we're so prone to getting in that format.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
You tell me, you guys can tell me I'm thinking too far out, but I can see somebody taking the Diabolus chain right here and putting it into darker regulars, and what they do is they go Violence Bruce's first grade 3, have their soul fully built, then go into no life king.
Yeah. Oh man, imagine if it didn't. If it did restand the Vanguard because of that non-once per turn skill in DI, that would be so broken in premium. The Castile would copy it. They have 20 soul. They restand their front row 4 times, and you're like, I thought 3 Vanguard attacks is all you got, and they're like, no, I'll get you 6 times. Don't you worry.
No, but doesn't DI have a Vanguard unit that as Vanguard restands itself?
They do.
Yeah.
It's Master of Fifth Element. Soul Blast your everything, discard your everything, stand everything.
Oh yeah, never mind. That don't work. They don't work together like that.
Not exactly the synergy. It's like your last ditch effort. He's pretty good as a card, but
But just think about how bonkers this is. If it has, it just needs to be with the right build in DI, and Bruce is just scary.
yeah, I'm glad we can pick up something a nice engine like this for cheap. It's like what, $5 in English? I don't know what 333 yen is gonna be in American dollars.
That's about $4 total.
That was close.
It's like $4.50 after tax.
And then shipping to get to America is probably like $5 because it's overseas. It's $1. It's like a kind of round amount. They'll probably charge you $4.99 at the shop.
Most likely. So now since we're skipping the starter because it's just the starter.
It's just a starter. The
We're
big
going
boys
into
next.
We're going into my territory. Next up, guys, we have another grade 3, the secondary grade 3 of the deck, Time Fissuring Fist Colossus. His skill: when the shooter is placed on rear guard, soul charge 1. Then, if you are in final rush, cost counterblast 1, and this guy gets 15,000 power until end of turn.
Oof.
Big boy.
I would think we were talking about this a week or two ago, but 28 is like the number because it's really hard to guard now. And then you get the 28, and then you get a Persona ride, and then it's 38, and then you give it a boost from like that grade 1. That's a 13k booster, and it's just too big. It's just too big.
Cascades.
And
then the crazy part is
restands.
that if it keeps everything.
And it's until end of turn. So, okay, 38, unless I see some triggers.
And it soul charges you in the process too, instead of and it because it's activated skill costs a counterblast instead of a soul blast, which is just perfect synergy.
Yeah, it's good that it uses 2 separate sources and not the same source. But I'm so glad what this unit's Gear Chronicle.
I mean, it's the Gear Chronicle look, and he's definitely got the Gear vibe. It's got the time and all that.
He's a Gear Colossus.
That's for sure.
He's doing what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to be part of that multi-attacking and be valid.
Yeah, big smash. Like look at that artwork. He's schmoovin' out there.
Yep, just ready to box.
I think.
What do you got to say about it, Crespo? You were kind of quiet.
He's always quiet.
Colossus is thicky.
Oh,
He is thicky and multi-attacking. I like it. I want to see what the only thing I just want to know about like how many copies put in this when we get more from the booster set down the line to support Dark States. Like I know I would like them as like a 2 of them and I use the starters until I test a little. This is just like a line, just a theory crafting.
Yeah, fair. The next one we have is Icicle Ein Eiser,
which I think it's either a vanilla or we're missing its effect skill still.
From what it looks like, because we didn't really get any more information, I think it's just a 10k vanilla.
That's what I think, because the other deck had a grade 1 vanilla, so this deck might have a grade 2 vanilla, because everything else has its effect revealed, and it has an effect.
Yeah,
well, except for the
triggers,
obviously.
It might just be the vanilla 10k.
Which isn't, the worst thing. That's
still good.
At least it's not a vanilla 9k or something terrible.
That's still good, because with even in final rush, 20k Persona Ride, 20k attack is still a nice number to multi-swing with.
Yeah, they didn't give you like actual trash. But the next real card though, Steam Gunner Brody, which I guess he's a Steam card, I'll let you read him.
Alright, Steam Gunner Brody. He's pretty basic. It's auto when this unit is put into your Guardian Circle. Cost counterblast 1 and this unit gains plus 5k.
Shield.
Sorry, thank you. He gets plus 5k shield until end of battle.
Just like
He's
fine.
he's meh.
I
He's
like
not
it.
gonna be. He's not gonna be
Generically
run any.
fine.
Yeah,
He's not getting run anytime after.
better than a vanilla, technically.
Yeah, true. Because he can intercept and then he's a 10k guard.
Well,
But
he wasn't.
I mean, extra damage
Placed.
could
Oh, it's put,
potentially
not
save you
placed.
the game.
Look at that. Well, they thought ahead and everything. You're right, Leroy. It does say put, not placed, so you can do that.
yeah, but it's just like long term, he's probably gonna get completely walked out once we see the set 1 support.
You just keep him in mind for a later future deck. Because the effect is still too good. It's too generically good not to like consider at some point. You just
Yeah.
like keep him in mind as a one of the two of.
Just like nice filler.
Yeah, until power totals get too big and then he's kind of obsolete.
Yeah.
Then he gets replaced by the version that gets 10,000 shield.
If that happens.
Sounds about
Reese,
right.
you watch your mouth. We don't go down that road again. We don't go down that road again. Not now, please.
It's bound to happen. It's a trial deck card. There's always going to be something that does what it does, but better, and then some.
Why must it be so
Yeah,
cruel?
it sounds about right. Well,
Right.
they never made anything better than Tirua and well, they made Ange. Never mind, I lied. Awkward.
Well, next after my Steam boy, our friendly neighborhood Bruce has his butler, the acrobat presenter.
Pale Moon representing.
Yep. His skill is auto rearguard circle. When this unit attacks or boosts, if your Vanguard is Diabolo's Violence Bruce, soul charge 1. And if you are in Final Rush, soul charge 1.
That's not bad. If you get 2
So
of
every
those,
final
your
ru-
final rush is kind of fueled forever.
So every final rush, and be very worried if your opponent's 3 in the soul at least.
Mm-hmm. Make sure
Pretty
to
much.
account for these things when you're doing your math, because the soul count can go from 0 to nothing pretty quick.
Yeah, you play 3 of these in the back row, and your last swing is Vanguard. There you go. We got my Final Rush. We're good.
Yeah, because I think with this card, and then the rest of the cards in the set are a generic, or in the box are the generic perfect guard everybody gets. They're 1 over trigger, they're 4 crits, 4 draws, 3 fronts, and the heal like everybody. But they have 1 last order card, Brother's Soul, that just lets you soul charge 2 when you play it. So if you have like a Brother's Soul and you call this and you go into Final Rush, you can go from almost 0 soul to almost 5 pretty much instantly.
Yep.
It's really cool that they played on the relationship between the cards in the ride chain because they're all brothers.
Yeah, I kind of like it.
Pretty much.
I like that they're leaning into lore. I really do.
Well, they said they did say they were going to go back to lore in Overdress.
Which I'm excited for. I love the lore in this game. Also,
The lore was actually why I stayed, in all honesty.
Like, yeah, the reverse had a pretty good story. Like, even if Chaos Breaker ruined the format, he made the story pretty cool. Like,
As much as I loved, like, playing the reverse units, I could not bring myself to actually complete the 1 Link Joker deck I was working on. I think I had, like, the trial deck, and then once I saw how bad it got, I was just like, I can't do this.
That stuff was
What did you try to build?
I picked up the trial deck when Link Joker first came out, like their debut.
Oh no.
And I ended up picking up the stuff I needed, and then I was just like, I'll just wait because Nebula Lore was too slow. And I was like, I'll just update the deck when the next wave of support comes out.
Nope, the game went to shit.
And we got Chaos Breaker, and then I just saw how bad Chaos Breaker was, and I was like, I can't play this deck.
Thank you
And
for not.
So I
ruining
just
things.
played against it with the Rebirth, which all in all wasn't a terrible idea. It was actually kind of dumb. Just you lock my cards. All right, cool. I'll just call 2 more, lock those 2, and swing at you 3 times.
They're
I
like,
I love the lore behind the rebirth. It is hilarious.
It was one of my favorite lores because when they were like, he died after becoming the end, I was like, that sucks. And I did not like enough of the Kagero units outside of Blockade to really care about them.
And if
So-
you're a Kagero lore enthusiast, then you must know about the Dauntless reverse story, right? Oh, that's a really good one.
Yeah.
I
That
love
one I
love-
don't remember as
sorry.
well.
Dauntless
My-
reverse.
No, you're fine.
the reason my love for the rebirth lore is because what happens is, for those who don't know, back in pre G era, when Link Joker tried to invade with Void, after Overlord was dead, they were like, okay, let's resurrect him. We're going to use him as one of our weapons. That did not happen. They woke him up. He gained the power to lock and power a Void. It sort of went on his own thing.
He was just like,
He was
Yeah,
literally
yeah.
Kai.
he was just
He was
like,
literally- If Kai was
Thanks.
a unit, he was literally Kai.
he was like, thank you. Thanks for bringing me back. And I don't care about your agenda. I got somebody to fight. One track mind. Like, he lived for the fight. And that's one of the things I loved about Overlord. He was just like, oh, insurmountable odds. Oh, well.
Overlord was every frenemy antagonist in the history of anime, and I'm like, why? Why? You did it with characters. Why did you do it to a unit?
Because they got character.
I was just I was more disappointed that his rival wasn't another dragon. Like, if you compared the side by side of Overlord and Blaster Blade, it was literally David versus Goliath, and I'm just like, this isn't appealing to me at all. Like, why couldn't he be fighting like, I don't know, Soul Saber or
Because
what was that?
Bushy, because Bushiroad never made Blaster Blade as strong as he was actually supposed to be.
By the time
Yeah,
they
they were-
did it, nobody cared. They were like, here we go. He's finally a grade 3. Blaster Blade Exceed.
Nah, because the last thing they needed was another Blaster Blade unit that was so strong that it probably would. The rest of the format wouldn't have mattered. I was like, I don't need to see that.
The closest hint we get to how strong Blaster Blade himself was is Blaster Joker. That is the closest hint we get to how strong Blaster Blade is unrestricted.
That format was so
a
short lived. I
card.
felt bad for it. It was fun playing that. It didn't. It should have gone a couple more months. That was a good 3-4 month period.
I was playing Liberators during that era. I was having fun.
Ooh, yeah. Were you still on Garmore at that point?
No, when Chaos Breaker came, yes, we were on Liberator Garmore, and then a little bit later, like a couple months later, then we got Zenith and Monarch Alfred, and then it was just Liberators are done for a while.
Because I think because you go from an empty board to avoid being locked, and then you just pop it all out with Liberator Garmore, and then you have a whole bunch of shield to handle chaos. It wasn't a
Yep.
terrible strategy.
It wasn't. It was just everything was rando.
Yeah.
So you were hoping, and you were like kind of hoping the first card out of the 5 is was the homie what was his name?
Can't remember.
Give me 1 second. I'm getting his name, guys. Keep talking. Keep talking. I'll get the name first. I'll get the game.
I can.
Give me 1 second.
Speaking of good lore stories, there was that the Dauntless reverse one was pretty good. He because you said you didn't remember it too well, right, Reese?
Yeah, that's one of the ones I didn't remember.
Dauntless reverse had because if you remember his effect, he like retires the opponent's lower grade cards. And in the lore, he was so there was like the Chaos Breaker army was coming, and he tries to fight them off to protect the weaker units because he's an old griddled ass soldier, but they keep bringing him back to educate the new ones, and he's got like a soft heart, you know. He really goes and does his best to make sure that the new guys can have a good life or whatever. But then when they take him over, they make him go and they find all of his young little grade 1 soldiers and kill them all himself, and the whole time he's fucking crying. He's literally crying. He's powerful enough to resist the reverse, but not powerful enough to actually fight it. So he's crying the whole time he's killing his comrades. So sad.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of dark.
Oh, so the unit was called May Rain Liberator Bruno. I do not know how I forgot this boy by name. I'm playing him in 0.
Yeah.
Bruno's, for those who don't remember, Bruno's effect was when your other rearguard is placed from your deck, if your Vanguard is a Liberator, this unit gets plus 3k until end of turn.
You could also, like, if you have him in your hand, you can call him and then activate the Guardmore skill. So it's not, like, super duper bad, but
yeah,
if you do hit him, oh, praise the sun.
And he was a $5 common.
$5 common. Ooh,
yes.
You don't get those every day.
We don't get those at all anymore. Unless you play Digimon. But but yeah.
I mean, I think my thoughts on the Diabolos deck, the Tyrant Tiger as a whole, I think it's pretty cohesive, because even if you've got no soul, you can call Steam Fissure Colossus, Soul Charge 1. Activate that order, Soul Charge 1. You boost Fissuring Colossus with that grade 1. You Soul Charge 2 more, and now you're at 5 in Soul. So you went from 0 to hero, and the deck is always threatening and aggressive later on in the game. But, you know, it's not pure aggro. It has that little bit of extra shield in there and whatnot, and it can't play aggressively on their first grade 3 turn. So I think overall the deck has a nice balanced mid-range, like it's like a late blooming mid-range style deck, which is pretty cool compared to what I feel. I mean, I'm not sure how much I want to compare it to the deck we'll be going over next week, Apex Ruler, which is focused on having a whole bunch of grade 3s, because it's similar that it pops off at the later turns, but I think it pops off on its first grade 3 turn, whereas this pops off on its second. But I think this one pops a little more.
Yeah.
From what I
if we were to judge just based off of these two flat out, in my opinion, I would put the Holy Dragon start deck over Tyrant Tiger, only because they have field control.
Yeah. But
if it wasn't
lackluster field control, but it's so important at this early stage of the format.
Yeah. If it didn't have field control, Tyrant Tiger, I think, out of just what we've seen overall, I mean, as a full overall out of all the start decks and their main ride chains, if we just go flat out, I think Diabolos is going to be one of the stronger ride decks chains out of the 5, solely because of how well it incorporates itself with everybody, and how well its game plan is handled, to where there's like minimal space for mess up for a new player, and then for a vet player it's like, cool, the deck sort of handles itself for me, but I still have to take control and do what I'm supposed to do.
I think of all the decks, when eventually we get to reviewing all the 5, I'm not sure if this is going to be the best ride chainy type thing, because I think that one that gives the prisons for the Aura Valkyrie, that's a pretty nice ride chain that they might end up using forever. So I think you like search the prison, but we'll get to them in more detail in a few more weeks. But I think it's a pretty close though. It's really strong.
I think that those so far are the strongest ride chain. But I think just based on the nature of how the cards in the Dragon Empire one work, and how it seems to be like this particular deck is going to revolve around Trickstar, these cards are not leaving. I can't really see the Blaze Maidens leaving the deck.
Yeah, because they search up Trickstar. They're pretty important for the strategy. I think all of the ride chains are really synergistic and well designed because they revealed all of them. The Stoichia one's a bit compared to the others, but I like the Stoichia deck more compared to the others, so I think it's an okay trade-off.
Yeah, I would say that's pretty fair.
Mm-hmm.
I like that they're really weaving together what the Dragon Empire clans did. Like Superior Calling. Although that was more like a Murakumo thing and it was more cloning
But
in a lot of cases.
no,
It's still the fact that their Superior Calling now incorporates that. And I love that.
You still got some retire, you got some aggro. It's not bad.
Exactly. It just ties everything together. I'm not the biggest fan of Tachikaze, but I can still put that aside. You know, like we get an unkillable grade 0, so now it feels like the traditional builds that we've grown to love and hate are going to be thrown to the wayside this time around with Overdress and the utility of the ride deck.
Yeah.
It's just once you have your ride deck, it's all right, cool. Here's your ride sequence. Play whatever else you want. Just make sure there's 16 triggers.
Just make sure your dreams come true. Speaking of like the cohesion, I mean, maybe that wasn't exactly the word you used, but with like making sure that it's all incorporated in there, this deck is a bit of it has an easier time doing it because it only has 4 clans to work with instead of like 6 in Dragon Empire, but it manages to fit in all of the art styles.
5 in Dragon Empire. 5.
Oh yeah, because there's 6 in that United. That's what I'm thinking about. But it manages to fit in, you know, obviously the Spike Brother aesthetic from the ride chain, and the gears from the Fissuring Colossus, but that and the Acrobat has Pale Moon. But I didn't get a chance to mention that the Psychic Prima Miranda's got some DI flavor going on. I mean, maybe you could argue that it's not DI and it's like gear, but
No,
she looks pretty
no,
DI in my opinion.
No, she's more DI. She looks like their old Link Joker era PG.
Oh, she's a Gearoid. Wait. She does have that vibe though.
She's a Gearoid?
She's a Gearoid, I just checked.
Oh wow.
But their trigger, their critical's a succubus. So
there we go.
So that's so there's and the front's a succubus. Yeah, there we go. That's a little more it.
So
yeah.
Yeah,
okay,
that's
so
front
they took
trigger.
the triggers.
That's some DI artwork right there. I like that front artwork. That's pretty good.
I did not realize she was a gear. I did not realize she was a Gearoid.
I would not have realized if the wiki wasn't all powerful and all seeing. I mean, I say that, but it literally doesn't have the skill of Icicle, whatever, right here. But that's because nobody knows the skill. Grumble.
I didn't pay close enough attention to her. I feel bad.
Me too. I should have, because I had it pulled up and I was like, I can't wait to talk about it. I'm like, awkward. But
I feel kind of bad. I'm the gear player and I didn't notice the Gearoid text in that name.
I mean, but her artwork is very. I mean, it's not very. I can see how she's kind of gears because she's got those goggles. She's got like that midriff going on. The boots.
Not just that, but we don't really have psychics. We don't have psychics in Gear Chronicle.
Exactly, right? Like she should be like a Steam whatever. Like Psychic is, I'm thinking of like Psychic Abductor or whatever. You know, like they have DI cards like that. But
like I'm not saying we don't have mages. Gear Chronicle has mages, but we don't have psychics.
Well, I guess you do now because you got mixed up with the bad boys.
Yep.
But I There's not much else to say. It's kind of a shorter episode today.
Yeah, shorter than last time though too.
Especially when we had the movie with clan selection.
Yeah.
But for science, now we have a long one followed by a short one, and then we'll see which one people respond to better. I think the short ones are fine, but I do like talking forever. That is, so I'll make do.
Yeah. I will say this, since we do have a little time.
Yes,
I'll
we
make
do.
this quick. From my standpoint, as of the release of clan selection, because I main Gears, I am really happy with the support. The R&D team, and I'm just speaking from what they did with Gear Chronicle. The R&D team really did their homework. They realized what the deck was missing, and they made it. But it didn't cause a issue when it came to being put inside the deck. We gained.
They probably started off with a very extreme version of a skill, and then started tapering it down so it was palatable. And that's what I wish the previous team did. Like, hey, wait, this is kind of nuts. Why don't we, like, add a cost here and then, add a detriment here, like a drawback to it. And you can see that they meticulously did that with the support so far.
Yep.
Trying to figure out how exactly they should scale the power. Like, there's going to be stuff that gives 10,000. They're like, sure, we'll give you that, but not everything's going to give you that. 5,000 is going to be generous now. And I like that we're seeing the smaller increments of 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 again.
Yeah.
Like, now you got a plan. Now you got to do math. It's not just 8s and 3s anymore.
Yeah, but we can at least say they did their homework. These guys, even if they're
absolutely
blown away by the new team,
they understood for the clans that they just added to, they did their homework prior. They looked at what does this clan need to get stronger to match up, even if we're not giving them this huge number of cards. We're giving them about 3 to 4 cards. So what 3 to 4 cards do they need to help keep the deck in line? And they did that.
Almost. They could have just tacked on Prism to the 1 and 2 they threw Bermuda players, but it's fine. The deck's pretty strong. I think it's been in the background footage the past 2-ish weeks. It's fun. I don't hate it.
Hating is a good start.
Yeah, that is usually asking a lot from me with Bermuda stuff. I'm very picky.
True.
Talking a little bit, so seeing as how we just did clan selection, I really appreciate what they did all around. Well, the love that they gave the Dragon Empire clans was much needed, because they were all starting to look like one-trick ponies, because everything else just was nowhere near as good. Like, Shiryuki is now a fun deck. If you don't want to be degenerate and play like the best deck, you can play a very consistent Shiryuki deck and have fun.
That deck is still pretty strong, though. I've been seeing it getting played online. That deck's not just a joke.
Yeah, no, that's why I'm probably gonna build it as a side build, seeing as how I'll have extras of stuff.
Definitely.
I need to buy more sleeves.
Fun.
You know what? For all these side builds, I'm just gonna single sleeve them. I'm gonna be that guy.
It's not so bad. Just get some good old dragon shields and you'll be chilling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
My
but
hands are huge. That's why I double sleeve.
It is nice though. It is nice that with clan selection, some decks are like really easy to enter now, such as Gears.
Oh yeah, because you get the trial deck, you get some of that stuff, you get just a few other little things here and there, and pop, full ass.
You only need to buy one.
Gears is easy to get into. Like,
for everybody listening, if you're thinking about getting into Gear Chronicle, clan selection made it so easy. All you need is a playset of everything from clan selection outside of Time Leaper Dragon. You only need 2 Time Leaper Dragons. Then you need to pick up 4 Smoke Gear Dragons and 3 next stages, and you're done.
Oh, and a trial deck. Don't forget.
I mentioned trial deck.
Oh,
and
I
then
missed
you're
it.
done.
Awkward.
Depending on what the market looks like, will dictate how easy that will be for you guys.
'Cause, like,
is what I was trying to say.
Because next stage could be is like the only pricey card there, but I don't know how much it
Pretty
goes for
much.
nowadays. Because with the price crashes and everything, it's probably what, like $5-10 after the price crashes.
He's
Each?
currently like around $10.
That's not terrible. I paid
Not
I
bad.
paid $20 for Negro Lazies back in the day. Why did I buy Negro Lazies for $20 a pop? What was wrong with me?
Currently, he is sitting at. Oh, he went up. He's back at 20s.
Ooh,
Oh no.
maybe they know how strong he is.
Well, because this is solely because of Ribble and because of how easy it is to get into the deck now.
Yeah, it's probably super popular.
Because the actual high price cards got reprinted.
Yeah, there was also a Chrono Jet Dragon.
Well, that
reprint, too,
definitely
if you
did
want.
help with it.
Urkobs
It's just-
and Chrono 2 Tigers got reprinted. Those cards alone were like 20 to 25 each a piece.
You know, it's kind of funny because, like, when Gear Chronicle first came out, I wanted so badly to play it. So badly. But the cards are so expensive, and living in New York was really expensive, okay?
Yeah.
Just, what? Listen, take it from me,
Yeah.
don't do it. Don't
Yeah,
do it.
Get out of the big
dude,
city.
I was able to build them at certain points. Like when they had the what was that the Great Zero loop.
Oh,
I was like,
Time
that's
Leap?
when I actually started playing it when that happened. Like I phased through it till I think till Chrono Tiger came out, and then I just stopped because I was like, oh, this got convoluted.
That deck was so expensive. You needed to have like long-term investments.
Not even I don't even remember. I think I just I think I kept doing well with enough locals that I kept pulling cards. I just kept trading cards away for the cards I needed. Like somehow I did not have an issue getting them. I didn't know
You
how.
got lucky.
Crazy.
You got lucky, but that deck was
No,
so expensive, and paying what I
Well-
paid for rent was like, nah.
Oh no, yeah. I remember
Time
that.
Leap, I'm not gonna lie, Time Leap was kind of expensive.
Like what ended up happening at a point was I think there was so much distribution of it within the city because like Reese knows like Reese didn't have too much time to go to locals. I went to every local, so like at some point I ran into somebody that would always have cards. So I just picked it up that way. I went to like 2 locals. I went to 3 locals in Queens, 2 locals in Brooklyn, and like literally like 6 locals there. Like I had enough sources because those like people were like hoarding them, and then after a while like they couldn't get rid of them, so they just started selling them. I was like, all right, I'll just swindle that in here.
Nice.
Those are good times.
So it was
Wish I had
always
that many
around
locals
for the
out here.
sweet deals. All the time.
Oh yeah, that's one thing I'll never miss. I was like, when it mattered, the Vanguard avatar, I arrived, and then I disappeared.
Speaking of disappearing, it's about our cue.
Yes, it is.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Ayo.
So once again, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for being with us. Crespo, once again, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure.
And this has been Leroy.
And Miss Mimi.
And Reese. Signing
And-
off.
Signing
Oh.
off. Thanks again for watching the redraw, guys. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you in the next video. Later.
Bye.
Later.